What happened was supposed to happen. My husband Michael and I adopted Janie Queen when she was 9 months old through the foster care program. You know, my mother painted me a picture, you know, with words in my mind. You know, when we were talking about keeping her, that there's a beautiful little playhouse up in heaven. And you know, and God would be there watching over her. And you know, if she was a little girl and she passed away, then that's where she would be, and that we could love her and have her and enjoy her and, you know, give to her everything we could until it was time and he took her. We hoped that Janie would make it to kindergarten.
The sobering realization with respect to Janie is that had she been born 2 years or 3 years earlier, it is quite likely that she would be dead. It was only the advent of highly active antiretroviral therapy that changed her prognosis. When she became one of the first children in the world to gain access to these life-saving medications, it changed everything for her. And a situation that could have ended in her death at 3 or 4 or 5 years of age was transformed into a situation where her prognosis is excellent. She may live to be a very old person. I fully expect that Jane will be alive and thriving and enjoying her life long after I'm gone. BPI's origins can be traced to February of 1996 when I made a first fateful trip to Bucharest, Romania, and saw with my own eyes what was happening to HIV-infected children who happened to be living in the poor countries of the world. But I was really stunned to see hundreds of Romanian children with HIV warehoused into orphanages, some living on the street, dying of HIV/AIDS without ever having an opportunity to take life-saving medications that were routinely available for American children with HIV. The contrast could not have been more stark.
It was like a war zone. When I came to work, I never knew if I would see any of the hospitalized children alive again. I would see a patient, talk to him, and then the second morning when I would return to work, he was gone.
To really have a transformative impact on the health of children in Romania, we had to institute a program of highly active antiretroviral therapy. And in order to do that, we would have to have a building where we could control the medical program. So with funding from the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word and also the Abbott Fund, we were able to renovate the building, and about 10 short months later, we opened as the Romanian American Children's Center. The benefits of opening that center were striking and immediate. The death rate decreased from about 13% per year to less than 1% per year. So I was able to see with my own eyes the value of state-of-the-art care and treatment programs for HIV-infected children in Romania. I knew that this was something that I would want to replicate all over the world. And Africa was the obvious place where it needed to be replicated.
Before ARVs were introduced to the country was just hit by a storm of death. You know, there was death all over because there were so many mothers, you know, coming into the hospital with their children. And, you know, you listen to those mothers crying every time their children died. It was really heartbreaking. That's the other thing that really made it all so scary, because you're just thinking, oh my God, am I going to be next?
To give this a bit of context, in Africa in 2001 and 2002, children were dying at extraordinary rates from HIV. HIV had exploded onto the scene, particularly in southern Africa. The disease had become the dominant cause of death for children. It was really a dire circumstance. It had been described as a doomsday scenario for African children.
Before the Botswana government was able to bring in medications for children, the only way that kids could get medicines was through a trial that we started, something called the Bana trial. And next to the Princess Marina inpatient ward, we renovated what really had just been a small closet into a clinical trial room. And the door on it was white. And the mothers on the ward would say, if the child was sick, they'd say to the other mothers, take your child to that white door. Take your child to that white door and see if you can get on those pills. Because the kids who go through the white door live, and the kids who don't. The mother anywhere in the world is going to do anything she has to for her child. And that's exactly what these mothers did. They didn't worry about the stigma, they didn't worry about the repercussions. They got their child tested and they did what they had to do to get their children on those meds.
The Children's Center of Excellence was opened in Botswana in June of 2003. And it became apparent that African children would benefit from therapy in exactly the same way that the Romanian children had. And very rapidly, we decided that this was something we wanted to replicate again in other countries across the African continent. And with support, we were able to build and open children's clinical centers of excellence in Lesotho, and in Swaziland, and in Malawi, and Uganda. And now we're working in Tanzania and Kenya and Burkina Faso. It's really been a remarkable thing to see this model replicated.
My view and hope for the future for HIV and AIDS is to actually see a world where people would not really think much about HIV and AIDS negatively. They would just think about it in a positive way. And for my child is to see him grow up in a world that would not reject him, a world that would not judge him, a world where he would feel free to be whoever he wants to be. And as for finding a cure for HIV and AIDS, well, it might be a dream, but I'm hopeful one day it will be found. But with the ARVs we are having right now, at least we are surviving and we are living healthy lives and we are productive just like everybody else.
So on my birthday, I walked in my 4th period in the best mood. Like, I was just so excited. And this one girl, she was like, Janie, why are you so excited today? And I was like, well, it's my birthday. But that's not what I'm excited about. 15 years ago, I could have died. I was like, but I'm still here. And she just looked at me. I don't know, I just got so excited because it's true. I'm still here. I'm gonna stay. My life, it's not much different from anyone else, I don't think. I have to take medicine whenever I wake up and before I go to bed, but that's 2 minutes maybe out of my whole day. Everything else just goes like a normal high schooler. I cheer, play softball. I'm junior class president, 4.0 GPA. I think that it kind of impresses people that know about my status. It's just what makes me me. I mean, I don't think I would be the same person. I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be with this family. Everything would be different. And I'm thankful for what I have because not many people want to adopt a little girl who has HIV. And my family did.
There's no way that I could have conceived of what has evolved over the past number of years following that initial trip to Romania. These days when we return to Romania and we visit the center, we see a lot of young adults who are living their lives and still benefiting from the programs that were established now a decade ago. It's been a remarkable thing to see.
At the beginning of their lives, many were thrown away, and there will never be justice for that, for how many children did not even have a chance. And we are trying to be there exactly when they need a chance. Give them the opportunity to show their value. Many of them have a lot of value, but nobody asks about that value. What are you good at? What can you do? How can you help? I think they are still waiting, exactly like a seed of a plant, waiting to bloom, to grow and bloom. Many of them, I feel that they never got a chance to show their worth. And their experience, I'm sure, that shaped their ideas and their lives in a very powerful way. If they had the chance to show this, they would create something very, very interesting.
Today, the number of children in treatment across the BPI network in Romania and in all of the sites in Africa is about 30,000. We believe we're the largest provider of care and treatment to HIV-infected children in the world today. But still, this is a fraction of the number of children who need treatment. We have to do more. Our own personal goal is to have 100,000 African children in care in our centers across the continent. We have a long way to go, but we're off to a good start, and we've shown that not only can we do this, but we can do it with exactly the same benefits that have been experienced by American children. This is a time of incredible hope for people with HIV worldwide. So although we have a long way to go before we can say we truly have achieved universal access to treatment for people living with HIV, there are more people receiving treatment today than ever before. And it's not just the BPI program. There are many institutions and organizations around the world that have been part of this. And there have been many governments, including our own government, the United States government, under the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, program developed by President Bush. That program is delivering care and treatment to several million people across the African continent today. You can't travel in Africa without seeing the benefits of that program. And so it really is an incredible time of hope for people with HIV. We have to do more, but we're well on our way to changing the prognosis of this disease, restoring hope not just to individuals and to their families, but to whole communities across the African continent and around the world.
Rejoice.